Hey everybody, it's GECKO. Today I'll be doing a video showing you guys how a leopard gecko should shed and how to help your gecko if they're having a hard time shedding. So Phoenix right here, he just got finished with a shed. It went super well. Leopard geckos, you'll notice that it takes about 1 to 2 days for them to totally be covered in shed. And especially if they're adults, they'll get it all off in a couple hours. Phoenix literally just got done shedding probably about 30 minutes ago. All he left behind was this little strand, which probably came from his back, I believe, maybe his legs. A cool fact about leopard geckos is when they shed, they eat their shed. So they leave little trace behind that they shed in the first place. There's 2 theories for why they do this. One of the theories is that it gives them extra vitamins and protein. It's just a good source of nutrition for them to eat their skin, which sounds really kind of gross, but it's one of the theories. And also that leaving your shed behind will show to a predator that you were once there and that they might come looking for you. So it's a good way to prevent predators from coming back to that same location. So in order to give leopard geckos a nice healthy shed, you need to have 2 things. You need to have a humid hide and you need to have something for the leopard gecko to rub up against. So in this terrarium, I have all kinds of places for my leopard gecko to rub up against. These little red rocks right here, cork hollows, and it's kind of tight in there so he can rub up against the inside of that tube, which is a good place for him to rub that shed off. This piece of mopani wood and all these cork flats, these are all excellent places for my leopard gecko to snag some of his skin on and rub up against it and pull it off. And also I mentioned is that you need to have a humid hide. So I've kind of got a mixture of 2 humid hides. A really good way to make a humid hide is to put some moss. I have a little bit of moss and some bark back there, and I also have moss back there, and I have moss right there. Is to spray. A good way to make a humid hide is to put moss inside of a cork tube or a cave and spray it, and that'll really raise the humidity, and that helps saturate their skin and make it super easy for the leopard gecko skin to come off. It really aids them in shedding, gives them that necessary moisture that helps them shed. So whenever I notice that he's about to shed, I'll spray down the cage pretty well. I make sure to saturate. I don't like drench the cage or anything, but I definitely saturate the moss and spray down the bark just to raise the humidity, and that'll really help them. That'll definitely help them shed. Now they shed, and you can fact check this, but I would say from every 3 to 4 weeks, I've noticed that Phoenix sheds. They shed much more often as when they're younger, because younger reptiles are growing at a much faster rate than an adult reptile, which makes sense. So, and every time they shed, they grow a little bit. So that is so young babies shed a lot more than adult leopard geckos like Phoenix. Phoenix really has never had much trouble getting shed off of his body, but the #1 place that I would be concerned about, especially if you have juveniles, because my juvenile African fat-tailed gecko had a problem with this, getting shed off the toes. This is why you want to have good places for them to rub up against and good humidity areas, because they will struggle getting shed off of their toes. If it really gets bad, they could lose their toes or multiple appendage toes. So you want to make sure that if you notice like 2 or 3 days after the rest of their body is shed free, and you notice that they have some on their toes. Let's see if Phoenix's is shed free right here. I'll check, make sure in a minute. But if you notice that they're still shed on their toes after a couple days of the rest of their body being shed free, you want to pick up your gecko. Get like a moist paper towel is what I do, and kind of rub it down and use small tweezers and kind of, very, very gently pull the skin so it's easier for them to get it off, or if you can, go ahead and get it off. It doesn't cause any pain to the gecko. Or another way to do it, which is something that I've done more often, is get like a Tupperware container, line it with paper towel, and fill it about 1/3 of the gecko's height with lukewarm water, and that'll help saturate the skin and might even get it to come off. And if it doesn't come off, it'll be easy to pull it off with a small set of tweezers. I wouldn't use your fingers because your fingers aren't really as gentle as tweezers and they're not as exact, so I would use tweezers. But otherwise, guys, that pretty much sums it up. You need to make sure you have a humid hide and something for them to rub up against. Those are the two main components. Make sure that your geckos have a healthy shed, because a healthy shed leads to a healthy gecko. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Real quick, some quick shedding tips. If you guys have any other further questions, please make sure to put those in the comments below. And I want to thank you guys so much for 1,000 subscribers. I feel really honored. I'm really proud and happy that that happened. I want to thank all my subscribers so much for checking out all my videos and giving me so many views. I'm just so blessed and happy about that. So guys, hope you guys have a wonderful day. I will see you on the next one. This is GECKO. Bye.